Going live. All right. We're going live here in just a few minutes. We're logging on now. I'm excited to host you. Let's see here. Here we go.
I'm excited to be here.
This is going to be good. All right. We're just waiting for everything to sync so that we can give this information to the world. Excited about that.
Yes.
All right. Awesome.
We're going live.
We are there. All right. So welcome everyone. Welcome America and around the world. Hold on just a second here. Let's get this audio together.
This is going to be good.
All right. Hold on, everybody. All right. Here we go. So welcome everyone. I am super excited to have my guest in the studio today. I have the one and the only Miss Sherita Oglesby. Now, I'll tell you all how we met in just a little bit, but I wanted to give proper introduction to her. I'm so pleased to have met her. This dynamic leader is a sought out speaker, motivator, best-selling author, radio personality, business strategist, and you'll learn that today. She possesses nearly 30 years of community and economic development experience. And please get this, she has raised over $30 million.
Now, okay. I'll tell you all how we met in just a little bit.
There's a little bit of feedback going on here. Hold on,
just a minute. Introduction to her. I'm so pleased to have met her. This dynamic leader is a sought out
something. This has never happened.
Motivator,
hey, this is technology.
Radio personality, business strategist, and you'll learn that today. She possesses nearly 30 years of community. And
here we go. So those things happen in the world of tech. But here we are. I wanted to go back and again give proper introduction. There's a lot happening here in my area with weather, etc. So please pardon that, everybody, and we will certainly edit that out in the final production. But let's go back because again, this is important. This dynamic business leader is a sought-out business speaker, motivator, best-selling author, radio personality, business strategist, and again, I'll say it. You'll learn that today for sure. She possesses 30 years of community and economic development experience. She has raised over $30 million in capital for global projects, served as a professional and economic business strategist for global leaders, for city officials, for chambers of commerce, and for leaders in the U.S. and 14 other countries. Now, one thing I love about Sherita is her life's mantra. Her motto is YAYOL, and I'll tell you what that acronym means. You are your only limitation. Love that. And if we all would live by that, certainly the world would just be bigger, brighter, and better. But I want to tell the listeners a little bit about how we met. So I know that you're an avid land lover, and I saw your she shed, right? And I was just enthralled with it because I love all things land and agriculture, etc. So I saw your background, reached out to you, and found out that you were also a student and a facilitator with CEO Space. And for those who are familiar with that, it's a global platform for speakers. And it is certainly, and I'll let you talk about Mr. Bernie when you give your introductions, but it's certainly a global platform for the world's best speakers in their industry. And we connected via that connection. So before we jump into the interview, tell us a little bit more about you and what brought you to this space. How in the world did you land in the world of nonprofits?
Well, you know what? Nonprofit has been in my spirit since I was a little girl and I just didn't know it. And one of the things that I have found, Charity, in working in this arena is that God reveals himself through us at a very young age. Oftentimes it's not recognized. And even statistics show that we are who we are and we're reflecting our true passions and the direction we should go by the time we're 5 years old. but it just may be that someone's telling you need to get a real job. Well, anyway, back to me, ever since I was young, we might be playing kickball in the street. And I remember Mr. Brown. I used to love Mr. Brown. That lived about 5 houses up on the other side of the street. And he was out raking his yard one day. And I'm like, you guys, Mr. Brown's out raking his yard. We should go help him. I'm not going up there and helping him. You go help him. And I would be the only kid that would go up and help Mr. Brown rake his yard. Or I remember Miss Evans, who was another older lady. And when she was getting out of her car, which was like 2 houses down from us, I couldn't have been any older than 4. I'm down there helping her bring in her groceries. I was that girl that in grade school, the kid that everybody else called the pee-pee kid, because she stunk. You could tell that either she was peeing in the bed or her brother or sister who she slept with, but she came to school with that smell. Well, I brought her home and my mom gave her clothes. And, so we demonstrate who we are naturally.
That's
always.
So good.
And I was blessed. Yeah, that becoming an adult, I became a director at the Weingart YMCA. And that's when I realized that God had been working my passion through me all my life. And so that's what I specialize in now, is I help people identify profit for their passions and let them know that if you have faith, with faith comes finance. So that's what I do.
If you don't know by now already, I know you all are going to enjoy this conversation. And so you're getting just a taste of the first introduction I had. So certainly when we were on the phone, it was as if we had known each other for a lifetime, instantly connected. I loved your spirit and certainly love what you're about. I too am one of those champions of people, right? And so I certainly agree with what you said. As children, we are it's in the DNA. And that's the best way. My mother always says that who you are is in the DNA. And so those attributes begin to show up at an early age. And I love what you said about faith bringing finance. When you are who you are authentically, their value always finds that. Miles Monroe says that when you are at the top of your game and when you are your most authentic self, value finds you and people pay for value. Right. And certainly they're going to get value in the conversation today. So that's a great diving board, if you will, to just jump right in, because 30 minutes, I can tell you now, will not be enough time. Thankfully, this is a 3-part series. And for those of you who are on Zoom and streaming and all those other platforms where you're seeing, you will get an opportunity to post your questions. And post those questions, and then we will get back with you. So first question I want to get to, we're talking today, Sherita, about nonprofits in real estate. So let me give a little bit of background for all of you who may or may not know. I'm a real estate investor, CEO. Certainly have land holdings, I have houses, etc. And my mantra is create your own economy with real estate. Looking at now the trajectory of the housing market, because our holdings have experienced the moratoriums with rent. And so we went a period without getting rent in our properties, et cetera. And so we had to find ways to leverage that and to remain fluid while those properties were not leased. And so I began to look at now, how do we pivot, right? Any business owner, when you see those trends happening, we see kind of the ghosts of 2008 past, but we don't know if we're even going to bounce back to that level. Some economists are saying once this thing really hits and the market makes the necessary corrections, we're going to see large vacancies in the residential area. We're starting to see it now in the commercial area. We're going to see people losing their homes, unfortunately. We're going to see a lot happen. And so the landscape of real estate, how we do it, how we think about it, the clients that we're meeting now, it's going to inevitably change. And so we have to now, I heard someone say in the comments, it's now time to start thinking about the big pivot. I want you to talk to us about the historical blueprint of nonprofits. First of all, why did this business model even emerge? What was the catalyst of bringing nonprofits to the forefront? That's the first part of the question. And now, are we in the economic climate to see a resurgence of the uses of nonprofits?
Absolutely. Well, see, nonprofit came about to address issues. So anytime you see something that has happened, like what's going on right now with the pandemic, you've seen a stimulus checks being paid to individuals that have lost jobs. Following Hurricane Katrina, all of the housing that has been going on and redeveloping the Ninth Ward comes from grant funding. The nonprofit arena addresses a need. That's why even following the 2008 recession, while for-profit jobs were decreasing by 3.3%, nonprofit employment grew by 2.8%. But you don't hear our economists talk about that. And the reason being, we don't need everyone to stop having a for-profit and just go to nonprofit. Because the nonprofit arena is one of the business sectors that helps the U.S. and the gross domestic product. So it would throw things off balance if everything went to one side. But let me prerequisite something. Let me talk about something first of all, because everybody probably saw my kitten in the background climbing on that pumpkin. And I am sitting in the barn, and this is a great segue.
Come on.
The possibilities of what is available with land and your air property. So we will touch on that later. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that, because not only will you see my cat, my ducklings are right here in their pool. You'll hear the roosters crowing. But the thing is that even following the 1930s depression, more millionaires came out of that time than any other time in recorded history.
True.
And the nonprofit arena operates in the same way. It fills in the gaps of where there's a need to address what's going on at the time. And so, yes, this is an opportune time for those of you that are in real estate to realize that people that never thought they would lose their home before, like what happened in 2008, are losing their homes. The same way that people that never thought they'd go to a soup kitchen are now going and getting groceries. You know, things happen in that way. Well, the nonprofit arena helps with the bounce back muscle of the United States economy. Okay.
You said something really important there. That's really important. So let's dig into that a little bit and let's go a little bit deeper. We see now that the economics of today are really hitting middle America pretty hard. And to your point, people who were not in those positions, soup kitchens, waiting for groceries and fresh produce in lines for hours. We didn't see that in 2008. We're seeing that now in suburban America. And one of the things that I love about what you're saying is about the nonprofit fills in gaps. So for those who, and I run into this a lot in real estate investing, I have Section 8 properties. And so Section 8 by many people has been kind of snubbed. Oh, I don't ever want to work with Section 8. And there have all of these disparaging comments about servicing the Section 8 community. Well, first of all, many of the Section 8 people are the working poor. So let's start with that. They are the people who do not, and I'm not, projecting a political platform here, but they are the people who make the minimum wage, and that minimum wage does not cover cost of living. Those are the people who are typically on Section 8.
Right.
And so now is a great time, if you're in real estate, to start thinking about now, who's my new customer? Given how we have lost 11 million jobs in this economy. We started out at the beginning of this administration with 22 million. We're now down 11 million. So yes, while the economy has had a bounce back and we have seen some resurgence in the economic sector, we have not recovered all we've lost. Point.
Right.
Period. So there has to be a way now for us to recapture, if you will, what we've lost. It's not going to be in corporate America. I can tell you that now. We will not go back to what's happening as usual. Why? Corporate America, one, are still getting the bailouts, and two, they're finding out, we don't need everybody in this office. We really can work remotely and we can downsize. They've figured that part out. So now we have to find other ways to make ourselves, one, valuable, and two, replace what we've lost economically. And what I'm hearing you say as a business leader, nonprofit is a great way now to rethink your entrepreneurialism, right? Am I on track here?
The thing is that most any large corporation is already in the nonprofit arena. They're just in a different way. We hear nonprofit and we think no profit. But a lot of it, when you spoke of bailouts, that's stimulus. Stimulus funding is nothing but a huge grant for a larger business. A stimulus is nothing but a grant to help save our economy. And so, and when you speak of Section 8, and people say they don't want to get into Section 8, a lot of these large developers are in it per se. It's just not called Section 8. They're awarded tax credits or stimulus funding to also, when they do large development like housing, mixed use, they have to make so much of a percentage of it available to mid to low income individuals. They're in it. They're just not calling it Section 8. So this is what.
Oh, sorry about that. We have a little bit of a lag. I didn't mean to speak over you, but that brings up something too, and we won't get into this, but it now helps the business leader to attack the stigma, if you will, about corporate bailouts for small business owners and getting into Section 8, right? I think sometimes the stigma has been placed on those terms because certain people were in those sectors. And so if you're in Section 8, maybe people already think that's going to be low income, so there's going to be no value in the land, no value in the property. I don't want to invest. And there is a political and an economic stigma attached to that. I won't get into that. That's my private thoughts. If you want my private thoughts, PM me on that. But what she has just done here is validate what I've been saying. It's in corporate. The model works. It's just how we think about it and how we utilize it. And thankfully, we have people like you, Sherita, who raised over $30 million to come and talk to business leaders about the models that are available to them in nonprofit. And I love what you said. We think nonprofit is no profit. Absolutely false. That's a myth. Not at all. It is absolutely profitable if you have the strategy, hello somebody, and the information, hello somebody, twice. So love that.
Well, see, the thing is, for profit would make people think that all those businesses make profit. Look how many businesses close, shut down, every year. And so we're listening to the term. It's all in what you say. Now, I'm going to go to something that's not even has to do with real estate or nonprofit. It's what you say. Up until recently, any young woman or woman that had a child, they called it out of wedlock if she wasn't married, or she was in that stigma or that statistic as a single mother. Okay. Now that individuals in a higher income bracket are also choosing to have children alone, what do they call it? Co-parenting. And even when you say it, your mouth goes into a smile. When you say co-parent, the way your mouth ends up differently. But when you say out of wedlock, or when you say single parent, the way your mouth even ends. And so we've got to also, this is my ministry also. We've got to teach people that the way you say things and what you listen to also affects your outcome.
Come on.
And see, mindset. And even here on this land, it is a mindset with anything, because you can put someone in a $5,000 suit, but if they have the mindset of a poor man or a poor woman, their walk and the way that they even enter the room is going to be the presence of that. You can take someone else that has the mindset of that they have the ability, that there is no limitation. And that's why you see some that can go to a gala or a red carpet event and they're in blue jeans and a tuxedo coat and walk with the confidence of what they know.
Come on.
So this arena allows you, and this is why I love the nonprofit arena, because Charity, I don't care who you are, from the men that I've worked with in the prison and them getting out to some of the top athletes and celebrities in the world. What the nonprofit arena does is it evens the playing field. It doesn't matter your title, your finances, your ethnicity. It allows you to come out on the same footing. And that's why I say, you are your only limitation. I just love it.
So, and it's so funny how I believe this conversation was so ordained, because that segues into my next question that you did not know. Does owning a nonprofit leverage the playing field for business success, and how so? And here's how I want to preface this question. Many people, so we'll take business leaders who may not have the capital they think in this market to start a business. So many people thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do, and they're frantic. Or there may be a business leader who has a healthy P&L sheet. They're still profitable, but they see some downturns happening. How does the nonprofit now give leverage and really level the playing field for business success now?
Well, see, for one, it's designed for you to touch the lives and impact those individuals that normally could not afford you or the service that you provide or what you are gearing up to provide. So if we're talking about housing, you've been buying housing, you're a real estate investor for people that can afford to buy the real estate that you are selling. But like with Section 8, there's so often individuals that cannot afford the apartment or to live in the place where they want to live. So by getting that Section 8 funding, what it does is that person that is low income, let's say that the rent amount is $1,000 a month. And that person that's a low income individual can only afford $400 a month. Well, that Section 8 is that grant funding that comes in to even out and offset that cost to add to, so that landlord gets his full amount, and that person that couldn't afford it now can live in a better place. So all the grant funding does is it evens the playing field. You got people here that can purchase your property or rent at a certain rate. You have individuals here that can't. What the grants do is it covers that cost to even the playing field. So let me clear up something. People think that nonprofit is charity, that you're doing everything for free. No, charity is you're getting funding to even the playing field for these individuals. It pays you so that now the playing field is even. That's all the nonprofit arena is it provides access. Now, Charity, can I just step back on one thing?
Sure.
When we first started talking, you said, how did I get in this arena? We're talking about you and your passions. The original GPS, we all love GPS and we use it daily in our car and all of that. But the way I was taught as a preacher's child is the original GPS is God. See, my father always told me that if you keep God's name coming out of your mouth, and then you also are giving praise for the things that who you are and what you have accomplished, and then you stay in service to that, that's the original GPS. And when we start exercising who we are, it is God working through us. It is unbelievable. Charity, I do almost 5 to 6 coaching calls a day. Wow. I coach on an average 200 people a month. When I start showing individuals how to work what God gave them, Charity, sometimes I am pacing the floor by the time I get off the phone, giving thanks. Not because of what I receive, but what I hear when someone says, Sherita, I never would have thought. Or now I feel like my life has purpose. Or before I felt so empty. And so I just wanted to touch on that because it's what I live by, it's what I train by, and it is what the direction that I've seen clients, even celebrities that would feel stadiums with people coming there to see them as they play. And now, and when I go into the nonprofit arena, they say, Sherita, now I have purpose. Yeah. Now I feel I'm doing what I was here to do. And so it allows you to just do some magnificent things. And there's absolutely no way that you have received a gift and you can't survive off of it. God doesn't play that way. Okay. So I just want to get that out there.
So, and I see now we're probably going to have a bonus section with you where you and I can just dive into mindset, because certainly so like you, coaching clients, I have a mantra that I give them. We have to serve at a higher level. Serve at a higher level, serve at a higher level. And that's what I hear you say. When we're true to that authentic part of ourselves, that God-given part, the part of us that does not see limit, the biggest part of us, that part that dreams without limitation and wants to then serve without limitation. Again, I go back to my original statement. Value is found there. You can't serve at that level. You can't meet the demands of the world and the world not come and show you some love back. It just doesn't happen. And let's go ahead and inject God in it since we're talking about him. He kind of makes that happen. It's built into the equation. When you serve limitlessly, you then open yourself up to receive limitless. And we don't serve to give, but it's built into the process. It's built into the equation. I love that.
Yes,
so And again, yeah, we're going to have to definitely have a mindset segment, because I can see by the comments that are happening here, people are really connecting with what you're saying. Now, Sherita, I want to ask you this. Business leaders and entrepreneurs are concerned about taxes. Okay. So, and I just want to tell everybody, this first segment is really introductory. The second segment, we're going to dig into the meat of this, but I want you to hear this woman's voice and hear the breadth of what she has going on, right? So American leaders are concerned about taxes, right? How do we, first of all, take advantage of the tax benefits that are associated with nonprofits, particularly in real estate? I always advise, if you're going into real estate, look at it for tax savings. You get a plethora of write-offs, then you get the equity in the property and all of those benefits that come with a quote unquote small business or a home-based business in real estate. It's just really endless, but we have to stay within the parameters of the law. Second thing is, we know that wealth is built on what we maintain and leverage, not what we give away. But we don't want to come out only paying $750 in taxes, and we know good and daggone well we owe more. Or, shade intended, I know people who pay a heck of a lot more than $750 in taxes, but the IRS code is written so that we can take advantage of the benefits within the code if we know the information. So I said all that to come back to the original question. How do we leverage the tax benefits of nonprofits in business now, particularly in real estate?
Well, for one, you're going to love this. See, most people don't realize nonprofits do not pay personal property tax.
I'm sorry. I lost my couth. Hold on a minute. So for all of you who are not really tuning in, if for no other reason than to listen to this, please hear what she just said. Did you say no property tax?
No property tax. Now, let me say this. I am not a tax person, but I study nonprofit law. And in all 50 states, nonprofits do not pay personal property tax. They're tax exempt. Now, nonprofits do have taxable and non-taxable income. Like, for instance, there are nonprofit bars, B-A-R, that serve liquor. Okay? They're taxed on the liquor because see, people have such a misconception about what nonprofits can do. They have a misconception about all the businesses that exist that are nonprofit. The PGA is a nonprofit. Credit unions, nonprofit. The National Hockey League, a nonprofit. Now, the league teams are not nonprofit, but also the NFL, since its inception, had been a nonprofit. They just changed their status in 2015. But the Super Bowl, look at how much money it made just alone, the Super Bowl. So what I'm saying is, there's a misconception about the power of the nonprofit arena and truly how significant it is in this arena. It has to be. Hey, I'm sorry, one of my dogs is right here under me. Okay. And so the thing is that you've got, and that's why I'm excited to be having this series with you, Charity, because people are missing out. But the larger corporations are not. It's our small businesses. It's our entrepreneurs, our startup small business owners that are missing out by not operating in both sectors, the for-profit and the nonprofit arena. The nonprofit arena is the third largest business sector in the United States, only falling behind manufacturing and retail. But most people don't know that.
No. Because certainly I didn't. I mean, upon our initial conversation, that stat blew my mind. Had no idea that nonprofits were positioned there. So I want you to take us quickly through a scenario. Let's say that I have an LLC. And by the way, let me just preface this again. If you don't know, I am not a tax professional. I am not an attorney. I'm just a well-versed, well-educated, experienced real estate investor who's extremely savvy. But we preface this by saying, make sure that you talk to your tax professional and your attorney, regardless of the strategies that you employ. But what we're saying is these strategies have been employed, they've been vetted, is where you need to land. So if we have an LLC, let's just say somebody purchases an LLC, right? Has a house and they purchase it in LLC. How then can we combine the purchase of that property in the LLC with a nonprofit? Are you still there? Oh my goodness, it looks like we've lost our feed, you all. Oh my goodness. She's frozen.
There we go. I don't know what happened.
Let's see what happens.
Am I back? Am I back?
Let's see what happens here. Oh, there you go. You back, Sherita?
Yeah.
Okay. There was something, we lost your connection there for a minute. So I'll go back and ask the question. And we know you're out in the wide open, so a lot can happen out there. So let's give the scenario where we have someone who's just starting out in real estate, and they either want to purchase their first home or they want to purchase an investment property. They're really savvy, and now they've put that property into an LLC, trying to mitigate risk. What's the next step then with a nonprofit? Either I want to buy a home for my primary residence, or I want to buy an investment property and I have it in an LLC. How do I do that? Or do they mix it all?
Well, see, the nonprofit arena is not designed for just an individual to buy a home for themselves. Now, you can use the...
That's why I asked that question.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I had that question. So I'm glad you dispelled that. It has to be for a bigger cause. Can't be just for individual profit.
Well, Charity, like yourself, you can buy like 10 homes.
Oh, her connection, you all. I'm so sorry. We lost your connection again there, Sherita. Oh, goodness gracious. Sherita? Oh, goodness gracious. Sherita. Oh, goodness, well, we have lost her connection, and she's out kind of in a wide open space. And so, hey, it happens with technology. It looks like we've lost her feed. So if you guys will hold on just for a second, hopefully we'll get her connection back. I'm going to hang with her. Oh, lost her altogether. Okay, so I'm going to hang on for a second, and hopefully Sherita will come back into the conversation. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, and maybe she'll be able to log back in. And if so, I'll continue the conversation with her. But I wanted to, again, just let you all see now the power of the nonprofit, right? For you who are on Zoom and for you who are here, there is so much power in leveraging your nonprofit. She talked about how nonprofits fill in the gap. You all, as a real estate investor, I'm telling you now, every indication is out there that we're going to see some movement in the rental market, right? For all you landlords out there who just had a very static, okay, yours is sketchy as well right now. Oh, wow, that's crazy. So hopefully this is still running pretty well. But y'all, we're seeing the movement happen now with the moratoriums. People are experiencing evictions. The courts are now being filled up with landlords who are now either trying to reclaim their property from people who are unable to pay, or with people trying to petition for a longer stay in their property because they don't have anywhere else to go. If you leverage that situation with a nonprofit and say it's Section 8, then you can create some win-win scenarios. One, she didn't get a chance to talk about it. This is something that I know to be true. You can have someone staying in that property and have it subsidized by the government. Okay, I think she's coming back in. You can have it subsidized by the government, and the government can pay that additional money. Hold on a second, you all. I think Sherita's trying to come back in.
Okay, I hope I'm okay.
No worries. So I'm going to finish this here. Let me finish this.
More people,
and I'll bring you right back. Yeah, no worries. Hold on a second. Stay right there. Stay right there. So with that being said, you can have a property now because of the climate, put it on Section 8, have the government subsidize it. And you all, if you give home buying classes, or if you teach people how to purchase their first home, if you want to move them from Section 8 into home ownership, the government will even give you educational money so you can get paid on training people to get out of the desperate situations they're in. Hence my hashtag, create your own economy. You don't have to, have this scenario where the Section 8 property is low income, low value, and not moving people ahead. That's slumlord leasing, and I don't agree with that anyway. So if you have a situation where you have a Section 8 property, you then provide classes for home buying, first-time home buyers in your Section 8 property. You can call that education and get education dollars. So Sherita, I was just feeling in the segment, I had a feeling you were going to try to get back in here, and so glad you were able to come back. So I wanted to give you the question back where we lost your feed. The question was, and we're way past time, but it is so important, I think, that people get this information going forward. How can the everyday American person get a nonprofit and achieve their dreams in real estate investing? I just kind of gave a scenario in Section 8 investing, but everyday person, they're saying now, I don't even care what corporate America is doing. I'm not really even wanting to go back to my corporate job. Forget the corporate ladder. I want to burn that bad boy and create a house or create an investment property with my corporate ladder. How can that person now take that idea and that passion for real estate investing, partner it with nonprofit, and become profitable?
Well, the thing is, you're not partnering. They're two separate entities. That's just like Charity. If your sister lived in your house, she has her social security number, you have yours. You can't use hers. They're two separate entities, but your for-profit and nonprofit can collaborate. So let's say that you have your real estate business and now you want to take advantage. Let's say that you live close to an area. You've seen this retail store that's at the bottom that has been sitting there just wasting, and up top are apartments. Well, there's even funding for you to do mixed use, to turn that retail into a profitable business. And let's say that there's 8 apartments up top or 4. You want to turn that into, let's say that you would like to turn that into a affordable housing, because you realize that this is a community that's in need. That's why there's what they call empowerment zones. That's what that funding is.
Yes.
Just like CBDG funding, community block grant funding. See, all of that is for redevelopment or enhancing an area. And so as a regular person, you can, you guys, I've shown guys fresh out of prison how they can start their own nonprofit and do things that are more profitable than them being able to find an actual living wage job. That's the wonderful thing about this arena, is it allows you to step into this arena on the same playing field, no matter what your title or income or anything else. It's just about understanding it and knowing that really there are no limitations like people think. It is a business. It is a corporation. The difference between a for-profit and a nonprofit, for one, nonprofit means it is a non-stock corporation. So there's no shareholders. Your board members are not the investors and waiting on their ROI, which is return on investment. Your board members are individuals that are there to just help make sure that the organization is doing what it's going to do. But a lot of people say, well, do I need a board? And the board might try and kick me off my nonprofit. That happens more in the for-profit arena because your board members are usually shareholders or investors. The ROI in the nonprofit arena, I say it stands for return on impact. When someone gives you their dollar, they want to see what kind of impact you are going to have. So your for-profit is selling properties to individuals that can buy it. But on the other hand, your nonprofit is developing properties for individuals that normally could not afford it. And grants are what are there to help you still get paid for exactly what you need to get paid, but you're making a difference in people's lives.
Love that. Okay. Love that. Love that. Love that. I figured it. We are way out of time, but certainly not out of content. Sherita, this has been all kinds of impactful, informative. I'm so glad we were able to bring this content to the market in this way today. Again, you all, this is just installation 1. We have 2 other installations with this genius, and we're going to pick her brain about how now to start pivoting and making impact in the community. I love that. And see, and here's where my soapbox comes in again before we close out the segment. Business does not have to be devoid of heart and impact. There is a place for cause and for passion and for principles. Yes, in the for-profit sector, absolutely. But if you really want to get into legacy work, and I'm jumping ahead to segment 3, if you really want to get into legacy work, it can really and truly happen in this area of nonprofits where you make huge impact, global impact. And absolutely, if you do it right, that impact will far outlive your lifetime. So, Sherita, how do people contact you? How do they get in contact with you?
Well, they can go to my website at philanthropyalliance.org. That's philanthropyalliance.org. They can sign up for the free grant info that we send out regularly. That way they'll stay up to date on different things that we're doing. And actually, November 1st, we're launching our new blog, which is called Yo, You Are Your Only Limitation. So It's launching November 1st. And so I'm looking forward to being in touch, and I'm looking forward to our part 2 and then part 3. I'm just so excited.
And we'll also put that information in the comments below. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we want to make sure that people are able to connect. Again, you all, this woman sits at the apex of the industry, $30 million in projects, global leaders she's informed, celebrities, pro athletes, chambers of commerce. So her information spans the gamut of where to start, how to end, and what the strategy looks like. You would do yourself and your business a huge favor by going to her website, getting that information, and we'll put the information in the comments. Connect with her community. Connect with her community. I can't stress that enough. The second segment will be about, now we'll get into the how do I do this? And she'll walk with us step by step in how the nonprofit application process, what does the meat on the bones look like? I'll throw in some strategy and some insight there from time to time, and she'll bring the 2 together. How do they collaborate? How do they speak to each other in for-profit and nonprofit? We'll talk about that. And then again, segment 3 will be about legacy work. You all, again, you don't want to miss that segment. We'll have it this time, again, the same format here next week. I'm going to ask you, invite. We'll be at the same place, same time, same bat station, talking about how this impact now happens. And this is what I know, you all, regardless of who gets in the White House after November 3rd, we've got a lot of work to do on the economy. We've got a lot of work to do with social issues, regardless of who's there. We need to be positioned now to take ownership of what our economics look like, what our communities look like, and even what our local governments look like. You can do that with the partnership of real estate nonprofits. We'll get into all of that. This show has been sponsored by Project Cornucopia. It is the Mommies Creating Economies and MoguLife Real Estate Corporate Initiative, where we are eradicating food deserts, increasing land ownership among women, and returning people to their passion of farming, clean eating, and clean living. If you'd like to know more about that cause, that link will be in the comments below. We've partnered with TLC, and you all have heard me talk about TLC a lot. I'm cleaning out my body, and I won't do you all the treasure of standing up and showing all of that. But detoxing my body, detoxing my life it's been pivotal in my health. And so I'm so excited about what's happening in my body, in my life. That led me into looking at food deserts globally. Again, that's another conversation, but it led to a partnership with TLC. Long story short, you all, when you buy the products with TLC using this link, the money goes to help us buy plots of land, to plant urban gardens, and to show people how to live cleanly and use food medicinally, getting us, all of us, off of all of these chemicals and the medications that are having adverse effects on our bodies, reconnecting us to the land. Whole nother conversation, but that link will be in the bottom. Sherita, look, I'm gonna get in close. It has been, and I end it the way Les Brown does, my plum, please, and pleasure, but it has done my heart all the good in the world to host you today. I truly believe this was the answer. This was the aha moment. This was the God moment for somebody. Right? And we don't always want to connect God in what we do, but you and I have had this conversation. He is in what we do. So he just kind of finds his place. Yeah, he sits in this stuff, right? He sits in what I do and why I do it. And certainly he sits in what you do and why you do it. But I believe this was a God moment for so many people. They've been wondering, what in the world is the next step? What's the answer? What's the aha moment? I absolutely believe it just happened. That was it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad.
I cannot wait to give you a jewel of what has happened across the country as far as impacting food deserts. I can't wait to open that up. Yeah.
It's going to be some kind of fabulous. I already know. So listen, everybody who's here, make sure you invite your congregations, your business partners, your stakeholders, your families. Tune into next week's segment. We'll be right back here next Wednesday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. And have your, as I always say, get your laptop and your latte. We're going to school, all right? And so you all, this is it. This is when we are supposed to position ourselves. We don't know what next year holds unless we write the narrative. Right? We don't know what the future holds unless we write the narrative. And I don't know about y'all, but I have some narratives. I'm ready to go. Thank you so much, Sherita, for being here. Thank all of you for being here. Thank all of you for tuning in. America, you have gotten some information today that will prove to be invaluable to you. Execute, 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 and we'll show you how to do that next week. Tune in, and we'll be here next week, same time, same bat station. Oh, last thing, subscribe to mommyscreatingeconomies.com. Get your strategies, get the trends in real estate, learn about land investing. You all, I'm passionate about connecting us back to the land, but we'll talk about that another time. Go to mommyscreatingeconomies.com, connect there, or text MoguLu, MOGULU to 26786. I'm way out of time. Bye-bye for now.